हाँ जी सर, आप बिल्कुल स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं। मैंने रिकॉर्डिंग डाल दी है अभी। अभी
थैंक
देखो स्टार्ट हो रही है नहीं हो रही है। हो गई है शुरू आपकी रिकॉर्डिंग, ठीक है सर।
थैंक थैंक यू मैम. Good morning. Our class today is on the topic of the socialist movement in India, and how did the movement, spread from the 1920s till the 1950s. भारत में जो समाजवादी जो मानसिकता है, भारत में समाजवादी जो है, समाजवाद जो है, उसका उदय किस प्रकार से हुआ 1920 से लेकर 1950 के बीच में, इसके बारे में हम आज बात करने वाले हैं। सबसे पहली बात जो जब भी हम समाजवाद के बारे में बात करते हैं, whenever we talk in terms of socialism, we have to take into consideration the fact that there has to be an organized, or an or even unorganized working class to be able to give support to a socialist movement in any country. एक श्रमिक जो है, आप किसी भी समाज की बात कीजिए, उस समाज में अगर आप एक ऑर्गेनाइज समाजवादी आंदोलन जो है उसकी तरफ बढ़ना चाहते हैं, या वो समाज में समाजवादी आंदोलन जो है तभी आ सकता है अगर उसका जो श्रमिक वर्ग है, जो वर्किंग क्लास है, वो बहुत ज्यादा जो है वो ऑर्गेनाइज हो, या वो कम से कम एग्जिस्ट तो करती हो। तो भारत में ये जो वर्किंग क्लास है, व्हेन डिड दिस वर्किंग क्लास स्टार्ट emerging in India? This happens a long before the time period that we are studying, the time period that we are we basically have to look at is from 1920s to 1950s. But the emergence of working class in India started much earlier. It started in the beginning of the 19th century, or at least in the towards middle of the 19th century, जब 19वीं शताब्दी के मध्य में जब रेलवे की स्थापना होती है, तो जो रेलवे में मजदूर जो श्रमिक जो काम करना शुरू करते हैं, या इसके अलावा बॉम्बे में 19वीं शताब्दी में बॉम्बे में जो कॉटन टेक्सटाइल्स जो हैं वो इस्टेब्लिश होती हैं, कैलकाटा में जो जूट मिल्स जो हैं इस्टेब्लिश होती हैं, there is a great Indian Peninsular Railway, GI, GIPR, Great Indian Peninsular Railway, which which is basically the development of railways in India in the peninsular part, in the southern part of India. So the coming up of railways, the establishment of textile industries in Bombay, the establishment of by Bombay we don't really mean the city of Mumbai, but that entire region, this belt of Maharashtra, and also Ahmedabad and Gujarat. There were these cotton mills which were established, the textile mills which were established in this part of Western India. Also, uh, in Eastern India, they were called jute mills, which were established. In Southern India, there were these plantations, the tea plantations, which were established, which were established in northeastern India, in Assam, in southern parts of India. So all these places are the ones wherein people start coming and working. And where are these people coming from? ये जो लोग हैं जो इन सभी जगह पर आकर, चाहे वो टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्रीज हों, चाहे मिल्स हों, जहां पर आकर लोग काम करना शुरू कर रहे हैं, तो ये लोग कहाँ से आ रहे हैं? भारत के ग्रामीण क्षेत्रों से आ रहे हैं। एंड देयर इज some bit of debate that why did these people start coming from the rural parts of India to the urban centers, to the cities like Bombay, to the cities like Ahmedabad, to the city like Dhaka, to the cities like Calcutta, क्यों आना शुरू हुए? तो उसके अंदर भी एक डिबेट है हिस्टोरियंस के बीच में. देयर इज what is traditionally called as the push and the pull factor, कि क्या जो है वो जो ग्रामीण समाज है, क्योंकि वहां पर देयर वाज नॉट इनफ work available. People did not have people did, the laborers there uh, did not really have enough work. They were landless, so they were pushed out of the rural part of India to be able to migrate to the cities and to find employment in the cities. तो उनको जो है, क्योंकि ग्रामीण क्षेत्रों में उनके लिए कोई काम नहीं था, वह बेरोजगारी थी, और उनके पास जमीनें भी नहीं थी जिस पे वो खेती कर सकें। तो बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग जो लैंडलेस थे, जिनके पास अपॉर्चुनिटीज नहीं थी, जो रूरल इंडिया जो है, जो रूरल पार्ट्स हैं, वो एग्रीकल्चर जो है उनको अब्सॉर्ब नहीं कर पा रहा था, उनको एम्प्लॉय नहीं कर पा रहा था। सो दीज पीपल वर पुश्ड आउट टू द सिटीज टू फाइंड एम्प्लॉयमेंट। इन लोगों को शहरों में आना पड़ा to find employment, and this is the argument, which is given by Maurice G. Morris, that the fact that the rural India pushed these people to migrate to the cities. On the other hand, there is also something which is known as the pull factor, कि सिर्फ ग्रामीण क्षेत्र से ये लोग बाहर निकल रहे थे, या इनको इस पूरी व्यवस्था ने, जिसमें काम करने के लिए कुछ कुछ नहीं था, बेरोजगारी ज्यादा थी, कोई रोजगार के ज्यादा अवसर नहीं थे, इन इन सब कारणों ने इनको बाहर की तरफ धक्का दिया, इन इन मजदूरों को, इन श्रमिकों को, कि ये शहरों की तरफ जाएं और वहां पर जाकर किसी व्यवसाय से जुड़े, कोई रोजगार प्राप्त करें। Or is it that the cities were basically attracting these people? And this is the kind of argument which is given by Chandravarkar, Rajnarayan Chandravarkar, who says that at least in eastern India, अगर हम भारत के पूर्व की बात करें, पूर्वी भारत की बात करें, तो बिहार का क्षेत्र हो, बंगाल का क्षेत्र हो, वहां पर जो जो मजदूर जिन्होंने आकर शहरों में जो आए, जो शहरों में आकर जिन्होंने काम करना शुरू किया, जिन्होंने वहां पर जो जो मिलें जो स्थापित हुई, उनमें as the workers, these people started working. Chandravarkar says that it was more due to the pull factors. The urban centers, the towns, the cities, they attracted the laborers to come. It is not that all the workers who were coming to the cities and the towns were landless. ऐसा नहीं है कि वो सभी जो है uh, उनके पास खेती करने के लिए जमीनें नहीं थी. Many of them had land, but there were other factors which attracted them to the cities. उनको इन शहरों की तरफ खींचने के लिए कई और कारण जो हैं वो जिम्मेदार हैं, जैसे कि the attraction of living in the city, of of a better lifestyle, of a better life which is possible in a city, of better opportunities which the city is capable of providing. Uh, so all these factors, and also Chandravarkar points out that ये जो सभी लोग जो शहरों में आ रहे थे, सभी ऐसे नहीं थे कि जिनके पास गांव में काम करने के लिए जमीनें नहीं थी. इनफैक्ट many of them had land, and many of them continued to be associated to the farming, to the agriculture which was done. So there was even seasonal migration, which we even know today. Many of us are aware about this, that there is this seasonal migration which happens from UP, from Bihar, and from several regions. And these laborers who work in the cities many a time go back to their own villages at the time of harvesting, at the time of sowing. So जब धान की कटाई का टाइम आता है, या जब भी हार्वेस्टिंग का टाइम होता है, बहुत सारे जो लेबरर्स हैं वो वापस चले जाते हैं. आज भी ऐसा होता है. So similarly, this is the same thing which Chandravarkar was pointing out about the working class, which was slowly getting formed in India in the 19th century. That uh, many of these people, they were attracted to the cities because of the kind of life which city could provide. also because these people were not necessarily always landless. They continued to have land, they continued to have relations, but nonetheless these people were coming to the cities, and when they were coming to the cities they were seeking employment in these various opportunities that I've just spoken about, the opportunities which were provided by the establishment of Indian Railways, the construction of Indian Railways, uh, the textile mills, the jute mills, the plantations, etc. So इन सभी जगह पर जो है ये आकर रोजगार प्राप्त कर रहे थे. Slowly there is this development of the working class. ओके, ये जो मजदूर हैं, मजदूर एकता जिसकी बात की जाती है, इनमें ये जो मजदूर हैं ये सब शहरों में आके इन अलग अलग इंडस्ट्री से जुड़ रहे थे, पर क्या इनमें एक कॉन्शियसनेस थी कि क्या ये सब एक ही क्लास को बिलोंग करते हैं? क्या इनमें वो एकता थी जो कि किसी भी समाजवादी आंदोलन के लिए जरूरी होती है कि जो श्रमिक वर्ग है उसको एक साथ जुड़े होना चाहिए, that the workers should be able to fight together, they should be able to they should have the consciousness that they are you know that consciousness about their rights, consciousness about their power, and to be able to organize that power in the form of unions, जो trade unions जो बनती हैं, to be able to demand certain, necessary things from the establishments, be it the uh, from the sorry, आप मैसेज करते हैं तो ध्यान उस तरफ को चला जाता है मैसेज की तरफ. सो ये जो श्रमिक वर्ग था, क्या इसके अंदर ये कॉन्शियसनेस है, ये भावना है कि ये एक अलग क्लास है, इनको अपनी पावर के बारे में, अपने राइट्स के बारे में आर दे कॉन्शियस इनफ? बिकॉज दीज थिंग्स आर एक्सट्रीमली इम्पोर्टेंट for any kind of socialist movement to be able to emerge. Only when these workers are united, they are conscious, they will be able to put across their demands to the uh, they will be able to put across their demands to the establishment, to the state, to the capitalist class, uh, to to give in, to make their conditions of work, to improve their wages, etc. So ये सभी जो इस तरीके की डिमांड्स है वर्कर्स की, चाहे वे जो तनख्वाह है, जो आमदनी है, जो whatever salaries, wages these laborers get, whether it is to increase those wages, to to get more leaves, whatever, whatever their demands are, their specific demands are, they will be able to put up those demands only when they are united. Okay, so was this unity there? मतलब क्या ये जो सभी जो शहरों में जो ये लोग आए, और क्या I have just given out you the debate which was there, whether it was the cities which were attracting these laborers, or was it the villages which were pushing these people? Probably both the factors. There was lesser work available in the rural parts, and there were opportunities which were available in the urban centers, in the towns and the cities, and the workers probably wanted to come to these places and live the desire to live probably a better life, or to increase the kind of the money which can be earned. uh, so both these factors. Now, even there, there is so when these people start coming to the cities and they start working in the cities, uh, there is it is seen that instead of developing a consciousness of the working class, the kinds that existed in Europe, in Britain, uh, it did this consciousness, this unity doesn't emerge in the Indian working class in the initial phases. Why? Because many a times their lives, their recruitment, the way where they would be living, their living quarters, all these places within the urban centers, the where they were employed, etc. They kind of uh, you know um, uh, reproduced the identities, reproduced the hierarchies which existed in the rural settings. So जिस प्रकार के समाज से, जिस प्रकार की सामाजिक व्यवस्था से यह मजदूर, यह श्रमिक जो हैं वो निकल कर आ रहे थे, शहरों में आने के बाद भी वही सामाजिक व्यवस्थाएं जो है वो बनी रही, चाहे वो रोजगार के क्षेत्रों में हो या जहां पर ये मजदूर रह रहे थे वहां पर उस क्षेत्र में हो. Religion, caste, all these factors continued to be, you know, it continued to play a dominant role, a significant role in how these laborers, how these workers were organized in the within the urban setup. कि जो जहाँ पर शहरों में आके इन लोगों ने काम करना शुरू किया, वहां पर भी इनके आने के बावजूद इनमें एक जो है वो श्रमिक एकता की जो भावना है, जो मजदूरों की जो एकता की जो भावना है, वो उतने अच्छे से जो है वो डेवलप नहीं हो पाई. बिकॉज right from initially talking, from the time wherein these people start coming to the cities and working till a very late time, these people continued to be divided across religious, on religious issues, because they came from different religions. Also, caste played a very, very important role. Why was this why was this done? इसके लिए भी जो कई डिबेट है कि ऐसा क्यों हुआ कि ये इनमें एक मजदूरों की आपस में जो है वो एकता की वो भावना जो है वो कॉन्शियसनेस जो है वो इमर्ज नहीं कर पाई. There also, so what is being criticized for this is the British, the employment policies, the way the recruitment would take place in these mills and plantations, etc. कि जिस प्रकार से इन plantations में, mills में, railways में recruitment जो थी वो की जाती थी, उसके बारे में बात की गई कि वो recruitment ही इस तरीके से की जाती थी कि ये जो श्रमिक हैं इनमें एकता की भावना जो है वो डेवलप नहीं हो पाई, और जो जो ग्रामीण इलाकों में जो सामाजिक व्यवस्था जो थी उसी को किसी न किसी तरीके से इन सभी एस्टैब्लिशमेंट से, इन सभी अर्बन सेंटर्स में रिप्रोड्यूस किया गया. व्हाई? बिकॉज what was responsible for this, according to certain historians, was the way the British recruited these workers in the urban centers in these regions. And a great role in the recruitment process was played um, by the sardars, by the mistries. तो एक जो jobbers जिनको कहा जाता है, जो ठेकेदार जो है एक तरीके से मान लीजिए, और ये जो ठेकेदार थे, क्योंकि एक बहुत ही ज्यादा फ्लेक्सिबल सिस्टम था लेबर, to the demand for labor was very, very flexible. There were times wherein you would need maybe 100 laborers at a very short notice, and there were times wherein you would not want to be to employ these laborers or these workers for a very long time. So जो डिमांड थी वो लेबर की एक कंसिस्टेंट स्टेबल डिमांड नहीं थी, एंड इवन व्हेन it was easier for the Britishers to depend on certain contractors, certain jobbers who could get them laborers, skilled and unskilled, mostly unskilled laborers from the rural areas. और ये जो जो जॉबर्स थे जिनको मिस्त्री या सरदार कहा गया, नॉर्थ इंडिया में मिस्त्री कहा जाता था, पूर्वी भारत में इनको सरदार कहा जाता था. ये जो सरदार थे ये बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट थे, सरदार इन द सेंस ऑफ द लीडरशिप, क्योंकि ये लीडर थे तो उस सेंस में सरदार, नॉट बाय रिलीजन, दे वर नॉट, वी नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट सिख पीपल. सो these people were instrumental in getting these laborers from their villages. और जब ये लोग गांव से, ग्रामीण इलाकों से, ग्रामीण क्षेत्रों से इन मजदूरों को लेकर आते थे, तो वहां पर कास्ट जो है, कम्युनिटी जो है कि ये इसका चाचे का भतीजे का भांजा, व्हाटएवर. सो दीज familial relationships, these community relationships कि ये यादव है या ये ये इस पर्टिकुलर कास्ट का है, ये इस पर्टिकुलर जाति का है, ये यहाँ मेरी बिरादरी का है, तो ये बिरादरी, ये जो जात है, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले करता था कि आप जो है ये जो जिस प्रकार से ये जो सरदार थे ये गांव से इन वर्कर्स को शहरों तक लेकर आए. Also, these laborers, these workers, would try to be loyal to the sardars and the mistris and the contractors in number of cases, not just because they belong to the same community, they belong to the same they belong to the same to the same caste probably, but also because being in the good books of these sardars and the mysteries, these jobbers, ensured that there is going to be an the employment opportunities were ensured कि काम जो है वो मिलता रहेगा. तो इसीलिए जो एम्प्लॉयर्स हैं, जो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स हैं, इनकी गुड बुक में रहना चाहिए. जब भी कहीं नया काम होगा तो ये जो है ठेकेदार, ये हमें, ये जो मिस्त्री हैं, ये बुला लेंगे. So both ways, but there are instances in which these people are also going to rebel against these workers, and laborers are also going to go against the sardars, and the relationship was not always cordial. The relationship was not always pleasant. There were cases in which the workers would organize themselves and go against the sardars. So, uh, and so whether it was these sardars, कि क्या ये जो लोग थे जो गांव से इन लोगों को लेकर आ रहे थे, और जिस प्रकार की व्यवस्था, चाहे वह धार्मिक व्यवस्था, चाहे जो जातीय व्यवस्था जो थी ग्रामीण इलाकों में, वही जो है वो इन इन शहरों में भी बनी रही. और क्योंकि जो मजदूर थे वो एक पर्टिकुलर क्लास से आते थे, जो वर्कर्स थे वो एक पर्टिकुलर, उनमें क्लास या एक कास्ट डिवाइडिंग लाइंस थी, तो कभी वो एक साथ एकजुट हो ही नहीं पाए. Or whether it was because they belonged to different religious identities, whether they were Hindus or Muslims, or those identities also played a very very significant role, a very important role. तो क्या उन कारणों की वजह से भी ये जो है, ये एक एकता की जो भावना है वो भारतीय मजदूरों में उत्पन्न नहीं हो पाई? So was it those factors as well? Again, something that can be, that has been a point of debate for amongst the historians. Another important thing, which the historians have pointed out is the fact that uh, they these urban centers, the kind of work which was done in these industries, in these factories, was essentially identified as male work or female work. तो सिर्फ जातीय या जाति या बिरादरी या धर्म जो है वही इनको अलग अलग बांटने वाला नहीं था, बल्कि जिस प्रकार का जो काम जो था, जब हम मजदूर संघ, मजदूर एकता की बात करते हैं, the popular somehow the biased images which come to our mind because of the kind of, maybe the kind of upbringing, or the kind of whatever has built our conscious, हमें वो मजदूर जो है वो हमेशा पुरुष ही लगते हैं. हम उसके अंदर जो है वो मजदूरों में जो महिला मजदूर हैं, जो महिला जो है, the female workers, we somehow somewhere don't see females as being an important uh, as playing an important role in these industries, in these different establishments. But what has been pointed out is the fact that in a number of these industries, especially in Bengal, जो जूट इंडस्ट्री थी, जो जूट मिल्स थी, वहां पर कई ऐसे काम थे जो आइडेंटिफाई किए गए कि ये this is the work which the women should be doing, and this is the work which is the male work, because maybe the women were traditionally involved in that work, and that kind of was reproduced when these mills etc were established. So कई ऐसे काम थे जो in modern mills में भी महिलाओं के लिए देखे गए, but these women were so the work in these establishments was segregated, was gendered, that this is male work and this is female work, and even those factors played in were at play, and women were did not really become the part of this, the fact that they were divided on gender lines, the fact that they were divided on community lines, on caste lines, on religious lines. All these factors were important in not making this the working class a strong, in a strong movement in the urban areas, because these people continued to remain divided for a very, very long time. Now what happens, 1920s is a very, very important time, so 1920 का जो time है वो एक बहुत important time period है, क्योंकि इस समय तक आते आते बहुत सारी अलग अलग जो है बदलाव आ रहे हैं, changes आ रहे हैं, developments हो रही हैं. What all was happening? Let us just pay attention to this juncture, the 1920s, what has happened and what is going to happen from here. अगर 1920 की बात करें तो प्रथम विश्व युद्ध जो है वो अभी समाप्त हुआ है, so it has just ended in 1918, and Indian there was a lot of wartime supplies which was sent from India to the various industries, wartime industries, to meet their war requirements. And the war for India and the Indian working class and the Indian military ended much later as compared to when it ended for in Europe. जो प्रथम विश्व युद्ध जो है 1918 में बेशक उसकी समाप्ति हो जाती है, जो यूरोप है वहां पे फाइटिंग खत्म हो जाती है, बट द इफ वी टॉक अबाउट द एशियन पार्ट ऑफ इट, there were strifes which continued right till 1919s and 20s. So प्रथम विश्व युद्ध की जो है वो समाप्त हो चुका है, लेकिन एक तरीके का जो एंगेजमेंट जो था वो बना हुआ था. There were strikes which are going on in the regions of Afghanistan, etc. Also a very very important thing, so बहुत सारे जो मजदूर हैं वो ऐसी भारत में जो श्रमिक हैं वो ऐसी इंडस्ट्रीज में काम करते थे जो कि वॉर टाइम सप्लाईज बना रही थी, या तो उसके अंदर वो काम कर रहे थे. जब वॉर समाप्त होगा, जब युद्ध जब समाप्त होगा, तो उनकी डिमांड जो है उन कमोडिटीज की उसमें कमी आएगी, इन लोगों की वेजेस में कमी आएगी, इन लोगों की बेरोजगारी जो है वो बढ़ेगी. सो ऑल दोज फैक्टर्स आर एट वर्क, आर गोइंग टू प्ले एन इम्पोर्टेंट रोल. Apart from this, 1920s is also the time wherein Russia has undergone the socialist revolution, has undergone the Bolshevik revolution, and there has what has formed in this in the Russian region is the Soviet Union. So USSR जो है उसकी स्थापना जो है वो हो जाती है 1917 में. जो बोल्शेविक क्रांति होती है, जो बोल्शेविक रेवोल्यूशन होता है, रूसी क्रांति जो है उसके कारण so the socialist ideas, they spread in the entire world because of the revolutions which take place in 1917. So that is also happening just before the 1920s. And this socialist revolution, this Bolshevik revolution, this establishment of USSR is going to play a very, very important role in influencing a number of Indian leaders, including Nehru himself, to become, to take on the path of socialism. तो ये जो event था इस USSR के establishment का एक बहुत important role play करेगा in influencing a number of Indian leaders towards socialism, समाजवाद की तरफ. समाजवाद में उनका जो विश्वास है, उनकी जो भावनाएं हैं वो बढ़ने लगेंगी, उसकी तरफ उनका जो रुझान है वो ज्यादा हो जाएगा, ज्यादा होने लगता है इसके साथ. इसी के साथ साथ the fact that there are workers in India, if they are able to see how there has been a successful movement, which with the base emerging from the workers and the peasants, and how they have been able to how they have been successful in bringing a revolution in Russia, that is going to influence the Indian working class as well. So this is also the time, if you remember, we have had a class on the uh, on the early phase of the national movement in India, the moderates and the extremists जो था, जो इस समय पर जो है extremist phase जो है वो खत्म हो चुका है. There is the beginning of what is known as the Gandhian phase of Indian nationalism. So भारत के जो राष्ट्रीयता जो आंदोलन है, उसमें गांधी जी का जो गांधीयन फेज है, उसकी शुरुआत हो रही है. रॉलेट एक्ट के अगेंस्ट, जो रॉलेट एक्ट जो पास की गई, उसके अगेंस्ट बहुत ज्यादा जो है इंडिया में मूवमेंट होता है. दिस इज द टाइम वेयर इन the non-cooperation movement started. In the Rowlatt Act, which curbed the civil liberties of the people, people could be arrested, they could be, detention without trial, and whatever provisions were there, these were extremely, unwelcomed, by the Indians at that time. So all this is happening, and also, the beginning of the non-cooperation movement, and how the movement continued, and it comes to an end. So in after the incident at Chauri Chaura, so वो सब जो है, गांधीन फेज में हम non-cooperation movement की बात करेंगे. पर 1920 में ये सब कुछ जो है वो हो रहा है, विश्व में हो रहा है, भारत में हो रहा है. All of this is happening, and all of this is going to have some kind of an implication, is going to have some kind of influence on the working class movement, how the working class is going to be organized in India. Now, 1920 is when the Communist Party of India is established by somebody, the important role played by somebody known as M.N. Roy. He plays a very important role, but in the establishment of the Communist Party of India. But this Communist Party of India was not established in India. It was established in Tashkent, which was under, which is very close to Afghanistan, Tashkent. And it was at that time included in the USSR. तो वो USSR में जो है वो included था. तो वहां पर कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी ऑफ इंडिया की एस्टैब्लिश होती है कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी ऑफ इंडिया 1920 में. एम एन रॉय इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, एंड एम एन रॉय was involved in a number of such activities, and this communist party is under the Comintern, which is the Communist International, which is established after the establishment of the USSR. तो एक कम्युनिस्ट इंटरनेशनल, एक इंटरनेशनल बॉडी जो विश्व के अलग अलग भागों में, अलग अलग देशों में जो कम्युनिस्ट आइडियाज हैं वो जो है आगे बढ़े, उनके लिए ये कम्युनिस्ट इंटरनेशनल जो थी, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो थी, वो काम कर रही थी. सो अंडर दैट अंडर दिस कम्युनिस्ट इंटरनेशनल, दिस पार्टी इज established, which is not working in India. It is established in Tashkent. What are the earlier developments of socialist movements in India? तो भारत में क्या होता है? The first socialist weekly is started by S.A. Dange. It is a weekly. It is known as The Socialist. उसका नाम ही The Socialist था. वो भारत में जो है वो S.A. डांगे जो हैं उन्होंने शुरुआत की उसकी. कई ऐसे अखबार, कई ऐसे न्यूज़पेपर्स, which talk in terms of the working class people, their issues, their problems, their demands. These newspapers start coming up in different parts of India. Like in the regions of Punjab, there was a newspaper, an Urdu newspaper known as Mehnat Kash. तो इस तरीके के जो अखबार हैं वो भारत के अलग अलग क्षेत्रों में इस तरीके का एक जो पब्लिक ओपिनियन है वो बनना जो है वो तैयार होगा, because of the role which these newspapers are going to form. This is also the time, 1920 is also the time when the All India the Trade Union Congress, AITCU, is established 1920, and Lala Lajpat Rai is the is the president of this Congress, All India Trade Union Congress. And So so this is going to be an important body, and it is going to be an all India body to which various trade unions of various kinds, of the railway trade union, in the cotton mill trade union, in the Bombay cotton mill trade union, Ahmedabad trade union, and the jute mill trade union. So all these unions could get themselves associated, could get themselves affiliated to this body, because this was the All India Trade Union Congress. तो भारत में, पूरे भारत में जितने भी इंडस्ट्रीज हैं, उनकी जो ट्रेड यूनियंस थी वो अपने आप को इस बॉडी के साथ रजिस्टर करवा सकती थी. ठीक है. So this was an all India body in that sense. This body is again established in 1920s. So all this is happening around, roughly around the same time. But if we talk about the actual, happening, the actual coming up establishment of the uh, of 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 the Communist Party of India, भारत की जो कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी है, अगर उसकी बात करें, उसकी शुरुआत कहाँ से होती है? उसकी शुरुआत होती है कानपुर कॉन्स्पिरेसी केस से. Kanpur conspiracy case is that, wherein uh, it is said that there are certain people in India who are organizing themselves to question the authority of the British rule in India, and to question the sovereignty of the British rule, and under the influence of the Communist International. And this is where the Communist Party of India is born in 1924 in India. So this is different from the 1920 Congress Communist Party, which is established in Tashkent. So this party is established in India in 1924 after the Kanpur conspiracy case. This Communist Party is, was, there were people who established the party. They said that the party should be allowed to profess the ideas of socialism in India, just like similar parties are allowed in Britain and in other British colonies. जिस प्रकार से ब्रिटेन में सोशलिस्ट पार्टीज को अलाउ किया जा रहा है कि वो सोशलिस्ट आइडियाज को जो है वो फैलाएं, समाजवाद के जो विचार हैं उनको लोगों के अंदर, वर्किंग क्लास के अंदर पॉपुलर बनाएं. सो इट वाज सेड दैट दिस पार्टी शुड बी अलाउड. So this the Communist Party of India, this party is declared illegal in 1934, and it works. It is declared that it is trying to question the authority of British rule, और इसको जो है वो illegal करार कर दे दिया जाता है. So this is about the various parties, and the various associations which are established, चाहे वो अखबार हो, सोशलिस्ट, मेहनत कश, एक्सेट्रा, या जो पार्टी है वो कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी भारत के बाहर एस्टैब्लिश हो रही है, भारत में एस्टैब्लिश हो रही है 1924 में, भारत के बाहर एस्टैब्लिश हुई थी 1920 में, या फिर वह ऑल इंडिया ट्रेड यूनियन कांग्रेस जो है, जो कि 1920 में एस्टैब्लिश हुई. So all of this is happening, but uh, you know, at the same time, still the working class movements was not very strong, was not very united at this time. There were very few trade unions in India. बहुत कम trade unions थी, और उन जितनी ट्रेड यूनियन थी उनमें से कई बहुत सारी ऐसी थी जो ऑल इंडिया ट्रेड यूनियन कांग्रेस के साथ अफिलिएटेड नहीं थी, उनके साथ रजिस्टर्ड नहीं थी. There is also a divide between between two important things here. One, what is going to be the role of Congress? जो कांग्रेस जो है, जो इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस है, which is the single most largest party in India, which is going to play a very, very important role in the independence of India, in the independence struggle of India, in the struggle against the British. How is this Congress party going to be associated to these working class demands, to the socialist movement? Are they going to uh, pay? Are they going to be to are they going to have a kind of soft attitude, a kind of acceptance for the kind of politics which is done by the working class, for the strikes? So the biggest weapon which the trade unions had was strikes. वो स्ट्राइक पे जा सकते थे। तो उनका बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट जो है जो रोल जो था वो स्ट्राइक जो जो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पावर जो जो टैक्टिक्स जिसके जिस तरीके से वो करते थे, इट वाज टू गो ऑन स्ट्राइक कि हम हड़ताल जो है एक बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट जो है एक तरीका था जिस प्रकार से मजदूर जो हैं जो श्रमिक जो हैं वो अपनी डिमांड्स मनवा सकते थे। Now, if you remember, we haven't spoken about the Gandhian politics yet, but Gandhi ji was involved in a number of early, what are known as the early experiments of Gandhi in India, the Champaran and the Ahmedabad and Kheda. Ahmedabad in particular is where जो Ahmedabad mill workers जो थे, वहाँ पर गांधी जी ने बहुत important role play किया था, in the strike of these mill workers who were demanding for better working conditions. So this happens um, in March 1919 or March 1918, 1917, March 1918. So अहमदाबाद वर्कर्स स्ट्राइक जो थी उसके अंदर बहुत मिल टेक्सटाइल वर्कर्स जो स्ट्राइक थी उसके अंदर गांधी जी का इम्पोर्टेंट रोल था। एंड गांधी जी दिस the association of these textile workers for the longest time is not going to be affiliated, is not going to get itself registered with the All India Trade Union Congress, जो ऑल इंडिया बॉडी जो एस्टैब्लिश की गई थी, क्योंकि ये जो अहमदाबाद मिल वाले जो लोग थे वो गांधी जी के बहुत क्लोज थे, गांधीयन पॉलिटिक्स के बहुत ज्यादा क्लोज थे। ये अपने आप को उस बॉडी के साथ रजिस्टर भी नहीं करेंगे जो ऑल इंडिया बॉडी जो है एस्टैब्लिश की गई। व्हाई? बिकॉज देयर वाज दिस गैप between the 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 goals and the ideals of the Congress party and what the socialists wanted for India, what the workers wanted for India. For workers, it was their immediate demands. It was about their immediate life. It was about their present life, what they were doing, how they were living, the fact that their wages were low, the fact that they wanted a midday recess of 40 minutes, etc. Uh, the fact that there were long working hours. So बहुत सारी परेशानियां थी और ये जो थी मजदूरों की श्रमिकों की परेशानियां आज की थी. They were in a way reluctant to many of these workers would give priority to these immediate demands, immediate problems which they had as compared to the long-term demand of freedom against the British. Okay. Also remember that it is not just the workers who are working in the industries, in the factories, in the mills, in the railways, which is established by the British. There were also workers who were working in the uh, in the industries and factories which are set up by Indian capitalists. भारत का जो पूंजीवादी वर्ग था, जो कि इस समय तक कुछ कुछ क्षेत्रों में जो है वो आ चुका था, जैसे द एस्टैब्लिशमेंट ऑफ टिस्को, टाटा आयरन एंड स्टील कॉर्पोरेशन कंपनी, which was in the region of Jamshedpur. So similarly, so these uh, so the workers are there in the in the state run, in the British run factories, in the British run industries, in the British run bodies, and there are workers who are also working in these factories, in these industries which are set up by the Indian industrialists. So कांग्रेस की जो डिमांड, कांग्रेस का जो सपोर्ट है टू द वर्किंग क्लास, इट इज आल्सो गोइंग टू बी डिवाइडेड ऑन वेदर दीज workers belong to the British industries or do they belong to the uh, or do they work, are they a workforce of the Indian industrialists? क्या वो टाटा की कंपनी में काम करने वाले मजदूर हैं, उनकी डिमांड को सपोर्ट करने की बात है, या जो जूट मिल जो है या जो रेलवे जो है जिसमें ब्रिटिशर्स इन्वॉल्व हैं उनके so the Congress's support or their or no support in that sense was defined was not defined because it is a cause of the working class कि ये श्रमिकों की मांग है और ये सही मांग है या गलत मांग है, उसके ऊपर डिपेंड नहीं थी। वो श्रमिक जो हैं वो किस इंडस्ट्री का पार्ट हैं, वो क्या उनके जो मालिक हैं वो अंग्रेज हैं या जो उनके जो मालिक हैं वो इंडियन कैपिटलिस्ट हैं, उसके ऊपर डिपेंडेंट था। And remember, Congress, is these industrialists are going to be the capitalist class of India. The early industrialists are going to be in support of the Congress, and they are going to play an important part. And the Congress doesn't want to let go of these industrialists because they were very, very important. So the Congress wanted, if they would try to please the workers a lot, it would in a way mean that the capitalist class is going to distance itself from the Congress party. So एक बहुत ही just 1 minute. तो एक तो ये भी बात थी जिसपे कांग्रेस का जो एटीट्यूड है towards the workers, to the demands of the workers is going to be divided. Also remember that strikes, etc., so British government is going to, so especially when it came to uh, these workers and their demands, and whenever they would go on strikes, the British used force, used power, used the police to the maximum possible way, in breaking down these strikes, in breaking down these hartals. So बहुत ज़्यादा जो है police action by the British to stop these workers from going on strikes. There were number of strikes apart from there were hundreds of strikes which lasted for a month, and there were strikes which also lasted for almost a year between 1920 to 1950, and the thousands and lakhs of workers in different parts of India, in different cities of India, in Kanpur, in Madras, in Bombay, in Ahmedabad, in Calcutta, in all these different regions. So there are these number of strikes which are going to come up in between this time, 1920s to 1950s. Very important amongst them was, a very important time period across India was the 1928. That's the time wherein the biggest strikes, the biggest movements, the socialist movement, this is the time wherein there are strikes in almost all parts of India. So 28 in that sense, and then again in 1937. So बीच में बहुत सारी जगह अलग अलग साल में जो है ये स्ट्राइक्स जो है ये चलती जा रही हैं, और ब्रिटिश जो है उनके पास एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट जो रोल है, वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पावर जो है उन स्ट्राइक्स को तोड़ने का, दैट वाज टू डिक्लेयर द स्ट्राइक्स इंडिपेंडेंट, इलीगल, कि ये स्ट्राइक जो है ये इलीगल है, और जो मजदूर जो है जो हड़ताल पे गए हैं उनको नौकरियों से निकाल दिया जाएगा, एंड उनकी जगह दूसरे मजदूर रख लिए जाएंगे. Remember, India was an extremely populated country with a huge laboring force, willing to provide its labor at cheaper rates. So परेशानी यही रही है, एक परेशानी जो भारत में जो मजदूरों की जो मूवमेंट है, जो श्रमिकों का जो आंदोलन है, जो समाजवादी जो आंदोलन है, उसके साथ एक परेशानी यह भी रही कि यहाँ पर it was the working class movement was also not as strong. One of the reasons for its weakness was also, apart from the various other reasons that we have spoken about, that they were divided on caste lines, on community lines, on religion, and how the religious hierarchies, identities, and caste hierarchies, the community hierarchies played an important role even in the working class establishments. or be it the fact that the British used a lot of force, the Congress did not support all kinds of the working class activities. It's the Congress's support was divided on whether this working class belonged to the British industry or to the or was part of the Indian industrialists, the Indian factory owners, Indian capitalist class, etc. So apart from all these problems and weaknesses, etc., another problem was that it was the labor was cheaply available in India. It was very, very cheaply available, and there were people who were willing to work at low wages for long hours without the conditions, without asking for improvements in the conditions of work. So if the workers are getting united, if the workers are getting organized and trying to demand certain improvements in wages, certain improvements in living conditions, certain improvements in let's say they're asking for a break, they're asking for chutti, they are asking for bonus, they were asking for whatever their demand was. एक अलग सेक्शन भारत में, क्योंकि इतनी बेरोजगारी है, इतने लेबर जो हैं वो पॉसिबल है, आप उन सबको हटाकर नए लोग जो हैं उनको रिक्रूट कर सकते हैं, जो कि कम आमदनी में, कम तनख्वाह में, कम पैसे में ज्यादा घंटे तक एक्सप्लॉइट होने के लिए तैयार हो जाएंगे, बिकॉज देयर इज पॉवर्टी इन इंडिया. नो, देयर वाज पॉवर्टी इन इंडिया, देयर स्टिल इज. So we have to remember the social conditions, the economic conditions of these laborers who are coming in and working in these factories at that time. You know, those conditions are really, really important. Uh, so that was again one another important problem. So all this is important, and let's just, you know, the last 2-3 minutes. So number of strikes, and the working class movement keeps on getting stronger and stronger, and they start organizing themselves. Number of strikes are organized in different parts of India. But remember, कांग्रेस का जो ultimate goal है वो रहेगा भारत को अंग्रेजों से आजादी दिलाना. Yes, the participation of the laborers is going to, or the participation of the workers is going to play a very, very important role. The Congress would want the workers to join the struggle against the British rule, but they are not. Congress is not going to give is not going to pay more importance, more attention to the demand of the workers at the cost of the demand of these the greater goal of India's independence. Another important thing is the role played by the leadership of the Congress party. You know, the people like Jayaprakash Narayan, people like the Jawaharlal Nehru. The most important, you know, Jawaharlal Nehru was openly declared his association to socialism, and he openly declared how he is a socialist at heart, how he stands for the social and economic equality, and he stands with the workers and with the peasants in India, etc. So जो भारत में जो कंप्लीट इंडिपेंडेंस की बात थी, जो वो कांग्रेस पार्टी से भी पहले जो बात जो की गई, वो जो इस प्रकार की जो समाजवादी जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस थी, उन्होंने the Socialist Party of India, in that sense, the socialist organizations of India at that time, they start talking in terms of the independence of India from the British much before the Congress does. They asked for it in 1928. The Congress passes the Purna Swaraj resolution in 1929. So the Congress leaders, though they are ideologically influenced, Jawaharlal Nehru is hugely influenced by the socialist ideas, by the power of the workers, by the powers of the peasants. If they're united, these leaders want economic uh, emancipation. There should be economic justice. Social and economic justice is important, but these leaders were also working in these difficult conditions, and there were many a times wherein they would have to choose whether they want to support uh, the 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 uh, the working class movement, or do they want to work towards the greater goal of getting India independent. So there was never this harmonious relationship between the working class, uh, between the working class and the Congress, and there were number of, as I said, number of strikes and in different parts of India. I would just want to give you the years, in which these number of strikes came up in a number of regions. So, like in the Bombay, the textile workers, there were strikes between 1919 to 1940 जो है 8 बारी जो है there were strikes which were organized, और हर बारी जो थी वो strikes 1919 से लेकर 1940 के बीच में 8 बारी यहाँ पर strikes हुई, and most of these strikes lasted for more than 1 month. और जो 1928 से 29 वाली जो strike थी 1928 to 29, it lasted for more than 1 year, the strike that I've spoken about. And it was not just in Bombay, the strikes took place in Ahmedabad 1918 में, 23 में, 35 में, 37 में, so 1919, 1923, 1935, 1937 in Ahmedabad. In Sholapur in 1920, 1928, 34, 37. Calcutta 1920-21, 1929, 1937. Jamshedpur 1920, 1922, 1928, 1942. Nagpur 1934. Madras 1918, 1921. Coimbatore 38. रेलवे की स्ट्राइक्स 1928 में, 1930 में. So number of these strikes they came up, as I said. So ये जो स्पेशली ये जो टाइम है, अगर कॉमन हम ईयर देखें तो 1937 जो है उसमें बहुत ज़्यादा स्ट्राइक हो रही है ऑल ओवर इंडिया. 1928 में, जो कि मैंने पहले साल बताए हैं कि ये इन दोनों ही, अदरवाइज देयर वर नंबर ऑफ दीज स्ट्राइक्स which were done in various parts of India uh, at that time. Somebody asked the name of the organizations. That I think I mentioned that the Communist Party of India, which was established outside India at Tashkent, was established in 1920 by M.N. Roy. Then the Communist Party, which is established in India, was established in 1924 after the Kanpur conspiracy case. The first socialist weekly was started by S.A. Dange in 1923, and I believe that's it. If there's anything else you guys may ask, otherwise I'm done. अगर आप लोगों का कोई भी और सवाल है तो आप पूछ सकते हैं, otherwise I'm done with okay. You can ask in this chat, like I can read these messages which I'm getting. Books कौन सी हैं बच्चे? Books इसके लिए आप देख सकते हैं A.R. देसाई की ये किताब है. It is known as the social background of Indian nationalism. Then social background of Indian nationalism by A.R. Desai. Then there is another book by Shekhar Bandyopadhyay. I have said that जिसमें पूरे टाइम पीरियड की बात की गई है. The book by Shekhar Bandyopadhyay is known as From Plassey to Partition, प्लासी से विभाजन तक. And then there is a book by the by Sumit Sarkar, Professor Sumit Sarkar. The book is known as Modern India, आधुनिक भारत. हिंदी में भी available है. Then there is another book, India's Struggle for Independence, by Professor Bipan Chandra and Mridula Mukherjee and Aditya Mukherjee and Sucheta Mahajan, etc. So then all these people together have written this very popular book, India's Struggle for Independence, which talks about the Indian capitalist class and their association with with the national movement, and how the socialists were associated with the national movement. So all these books, they give you uh, some idea, greater idea. तो आप इनमें से कोई भी किताब जो है वो देख सकते हैं. I believe someone just pointed out कि ये जो किताबें हैं ये आपके सिलेबस में मेंशन है, सो आप अपना सिलेबस देखिए, वहाँ पर भी ये सारी किताबें जो है मेंशन है. आप क्या एसएल का मटेरियल बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है, आप वहाँ से शुरुआत करें और उसके बाद उसके बियॉन्ड पढ़ने की कोशिश करें. That's it, I believe. Thank you. I'll see you in the next class. Thank you, ma'am. अगर आप अवेलेबल हैं तो आप.
बिल्कुल सर, बिल्कुल.
Thank you,
थैंक यू
ma'am.
सर, आप इस पोजीशन में भी आए क्लास लेने के लिए, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया
Thank,
आपका.
thank you, ma'am. Thank
अब
you.
आपकी तबीयत कैसी है सर?
मैम अभी तो उतनी अच्छी नहीं है. ट्राइंग टू वो मतलब लगातार बात नहीं की जाती, सो वन हैज टू स्ट्रगल.
हाँ जी,
बट
हाँ जी.
देखिए आज टेस्ट वगैरह कराने हैं मैम, तो मैं जाऊंगा उसके लिए.
कोई नहीं सर, अपना ध्यान रखिएगा. टेक केयर योरसेल्फ.
जी मैम, थैंक यू मैम, थैंक यू.